Hey guys, so I didn't want to not do a video this week. I'm just shooting this on my phone and not with my big setup. Um, it's been a really rough weekend. Normally I shoot my podcast on Saturday night, but I didn't do one this weekend. And I'm going to tell you why. So at first I didn't want to do one at all because I got some really crappy news, and to most people, it's not going to be that big of a deal, but for me, it was a big deal. And then I thought, I should, because not every single podcast is going to be, funny and, whatever, like happy, like shit happens, right? But we were super excited because we, got the house we wanted, and we're moving April 1st, and it was all great. And Friday we got the lease, and we looked through it and had some questions. So we talked to the realtor about those questions, got them answered. And then she said something odd to me on Friday night. She was like, the landlords are just a little worried that, like, what if they want to come back in a year and live in the house and you guys really love it, and then you have to move? Like, they don't want to do that to you. And I was like, okay, that's weird, because originally they wanted to, like, sell this house eventually. But at this point, we were like kind of too much invested into this. We'd already given our notice to our landlords on the 1st. And I just recently found out that when you do that, whether you do it by a text message or an email or whatever, it is a legal binding document that says that you are going to leave your house by that date, whatever date you say. We said April 1st. So I said, listen, Clark and I talked about it, and even if it's just a year, we rather it be a year than nothing. We've invested so much time and energy into this. It's been literally a month of this. Like, let's just move forward. So that was Friday. So then she's like, okay, I'm going to talk to them. We'll figure it out. Great. So I'm thinking, okay, well, if that was their only concern, then we should be good to go, but Saturday comes and goes and I don't hear anything. And then I also find out that the parents of this house, the owners of this house, the mom and the dad, actually live overseas for work. And so the two daughters had originally said, listen, this is too much house for us. It's a lot for us to maintain. Like, why don't you guys just rent this out to a family that can enjoy it? So it was not really the idea of the mom and the dad. So I'm like, okay, that could be a problem, right? Fine. So yesterday, which was Sunday, I'm posting this right away. Tonight's Monday night. I get a phone call in the middle of the day, and I'm helping my daughter like get dressed, and like a button or something, and my phone rings, and it's the realtor. So I'm like, oh my God, Liv, I got to take this. Like, give me a minute. And I go into the next room, and the realtor says to me that now the landlords have decided they don't want to rent the house at all. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, they just changed their mind. I'm like, they don't want to rent it at all? She's like, no. And I'm like, and they know that we've given our notice and we have 2 small children? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, this is awful. Like, this is a really awful thing to do. And I just start going into like all of the things I've done. I'm like, I ordered custom furniture, which, okay, whatever. All the furniture that we have mostly is like hand-me-downs, or like, like our couch is like from someone else that had whatever. It's not like brand new out of the showroom stuff. And I had ordered brand new stuff. I've never spent as much money as I did on furniture. It was thousands of dollars. It was like almost $7,000 in furniture, to be totally honest. And it's non-refundable because it's custom made. Like, the couch is like 11 feet by 11 feet. Like, I couldn't even fit that in our house that we live in now. And I'm just going on and on about all this. And she's like, yeah, I'm really sorry. And da-da-da-da. And I'm like, what is happening? So my daughter's like, wait, we're not moving in. And I'm like, no, just give me a minute. Hang on. I'll come in and talk to you in a second. And so I finished the conversation with her, and I'm super bummed. And she's like, why don't you guys just send me like a list of the things that you want, and I'll look around for you. And so I'm like, okay. So we hang up, and I take Liv, my daughter, into her room, and I'm like, I have to tell you something. I'm like, so we're not moving into that house. And my daughter starts crying so hard. She's told all of her friends. And I'm like, listen, it's mommy's fault. It's my fault. I should not have told you or anybody else or the world or the freaking landlords and given our notice until I had a signed lease. Like I went off of what I was being told. It was a very dumb thing to do. And I'm so sorry, but we're going to find something better. It's okay. And it was just awful to basically be the reason, like create this loss for my kid. It was so awful. And we both cried and hugged for a while. And this is yesterday afternoon. And so I was hoping to shoot my podcast last night and give you guys great news. And instead this happened, and it was a pretty devastating day. So within a couple of hours, my husband goes next door to our landlord's house and tells my neighbor, look, this is what occurred. We might not be out by the 1st. We're still actively looking for something. But it was just such a bummer because this house was like perfect. We could walk to my daughter's school. Like it was everything that we wanted. And it was not easy to find. We've been looking since November, and it just took months for this thing to pop up, And now we don't have time. I have 3.5 weeks. And I'm like, I should be planning my son's first birthday, which is this coming weekend, in like 5 days. And instead I'm like riddled with stress trying to figure out where are we going to live next month. So I spend a lot of time online last night, just looking for places. Nothing is as wonderful as what I found, of course, what we just lost basically. And it sucks. So my landlords were pretty much like, okay, well, we have a lot of interest in the house, so we're going to have a conversation and let you guys know. And I'm like, cool. So we're still planning on moving on the 1st. I don't know where we're moving yet. But I will tell you that I am just now able to sit here and shoot this podcast without being in tears. Today I woke up angry, which is good because I think like angry is definitely higher on the scale than just crying. You know what I mean? Like I'm coming up into but I also feel like, I do this because I want to be helpful. I want to be of service to people, whether it be making them laugh or help them see a different side of things, and I learned something from this. I could sit here and be all upset and pissed off at them for doing this to another family, that they're awful, that they did this, that da-da-da-da. And the thing about that is it doesn't get me anywhere. And it literally, all it does is give them more power. So like, if I go, how can I be responsible for what happened? I can actually do something about that. And when you can do something about something, you have some power over that situation, right? If you relinquish that power to another source, to someone else, to something else, you're helpless. You can't do anything. It puts you in a situation that you can't do anything about it, right? Someone else is at fault. And I realized I'm 100% responsible for this because I knew better. And I knew that now I learned a lesson, right? Like, okay, now I'm saying nothing about, yes, we're for sure doing this, or we're moving in, or getting my daughter's hopes up, or getting everyone all excited about this thing that isn't really legally done yet, And so that's what I can take responsibility for. And that has nothing to do with anyone else or any other landlord or whatever. Would I want to rent from someone who, okay, glass half full. What happens if we moved in and a month later they were like, you know what, we actually changed our mind. We're going to break the lease and we're coming home like from wherever the F and we're going to move back into our house. That would have been awful, Do I want to rent from people that would that literally know that we are a family with 2 young children and potentially have nowhere to live in 3.5 weeks and they give 0 fucks? No, I don't. I wouldn't move into that house if they paid me to live there. So I have to look at what I did and what I could do differently in the future to change that. That I can take responsibility for. That is something I can do something about. I can't do anything about these guys and their decisions and what they're going to do with their life. Do you know what I mean? So I got very productive today. I was online. I was looking constantly. I have 6 different houses to see I have 1 tomorrow morning, 4 on Wednesday, 1 on Saturday, and I plan on continuing to add to that list. I still plan on moving on April 1st. I have a moving company coming here to our house on the 10th to give me a quote on what it would take to move everything in this house. I fully intend on keeping that appointment. And we're going to figure it out. And, you know, a lot of people have said to me, look, you're going to find something better. This happened for a reason. And I fully believe that. I know that for sure. Like, I know, like, there's a reason why this happened. There's something better, you know, that is more meant to be for us. And I believed that yesterday. Yesterday I was just like in it, you know what I mean? I needed a minute to like wrap my head around like, okay, what are we going to do now? You know? Clark and I have always been a great team in terms of like figuring stuff out and making it happen and pulling off way worse than this. So I have no doubts that we'll be able to do it again and better. And, you know, this will be a great, you know, story of like, oh, thank God we didn't get that house because look, or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? And even if we get something that's like for a year or two and then we buy something or whatever, it's all going to be fine. But I've definitely been in a funk the last few days and I didn't feel, you know, good enough to give you guys a good episode. And I wanted to kind of explain why that was. And, you know, I'm sorry because I do think that like, you know, whatever. I think it's important that like, you know, I make this agreement with you guys that I'm going to show up every week and I want to show up every week. And I didn't show up for you this week. I did. It's Monday. So I'm 2 days late, but, I realized that this is a really good platform for me to vent. It might have been good for me to do this anyway, just to kind of like talk it through and explain like, you know, what I went through and how this feels. And it's important. I think like a really valid form of good therapy is being able to talk and be acknowledged and be heard. And you guys definitely make me feel like that. You make me feel like I'm being heard. And, I did write a letter to the homeowners of the house that effed us last night. Just, you know, that I think that wasn't really a nice thing to do in a lot of words that were definitely said better than what I just said. The realtor wrote me today and she said wants to help us find something ASAP. I was like, cool, feel free. If you find me that exact scenario, that would be great. The problem is that up by my daughter's school, there's very small pockets of houses that are, you know, just walking distance and available. There's nothing really available. So anyway, we are going to persevere. We're going to keep going. We're not going to fucking give up. We're going to get an awesome house. It's going to be great. And this too shall pass. You know what I'm saying? Until then, very stressed out. And yeah, my son turns 1 on Sunday, which is insane. Him and the 40 pounds I haven't lost both turn 1 on Sunday. So it's very exciting. What else is happening? I've started, I guess, some sort of version of intermittent fasting. I have been skipping breakfast. I still am having my coffee. So I guess it doesn't really count as intermittent fasting because I'm not, you know, not having my coffee. It's not black. There's cream in it. But it's definitely making some changes. You can't see in this oversized pimp Sherpa coat that I'm wearing, but it is, it's definitely making a difference because I have lost a little bit of weight and things are starting to flatten out in the areas where they should be flat. So that's good. I've been doing that for a couple weeks now and I think I've lost like, I don't know, I weigh myself tomorrow. So I'll have to do like a Jay's weigh-in next Saturday, but I don't know. So far it's been like 3 or 4 pounds. It's not much. There's a lot left to go, but it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Baby steps. And what else is happening? Yeah, so my daughter, oh my God. So my daughter gets into the car with the nanny today with Alex and she gets in the car and she's like, the family that did this to us, whose house we can't move into, are really selfish. And I want to call them and tell them that they're BICHs. Okay, first of all, I don't know where she heard this. She also misspelled the word bitch, but that's fine. She left out the T. My nanny started hysterically laughing because it's hilarious. Another funny tidbit of this entire experience was that my mom came over yesterday and walked into the house right after this happened. So I couldn't not tell her. And I tell her and she's like, Jay, please, I'm going to be sick. Please don't tell me that this is what's happening. And she's like, literally goes into the bathroom and vomits. And I'm like, what? And so me and Liv actually calmed down and stopped crying because we're like, what is happening? She literally threw up. And then she's like, I'm dry heaving because I haven't eaten yet today. And my daughter like slams the door because she got scared. I can't. And I'm like, thank God this didn't happen to you. What would you have done? Drop dead? Like, I don't, she's so intense and dramatic. And that finally at one point, 2 hours after she'd been here, I'm like, Mom, I actually need you to pull your shit together and be a mom and be there for me. I can't have you flipping out and dry heaving when I'm the one that's experiencing this traumatic event in my life. So it was actually very funny. And it was a total shit show. And I was like, this woman is unbelievable. So that's my mom. She's just like flipping out. And she's like, I'll call them right now. And I'm like, first of all, no, you're not. You're not going to call anyone because we don't have their number, first of all. Secondly, shut your effing mouth. That's not going to help the situation. So that was my mom's reaction to it. So there was a couple of funny things about it. You know what I mean? Which is good. I always like to find the humor in the fucking horror show that was or is or used to be my life. So that was good. And then yeah, I'm still gonna have an effing yard sale next weekend. I don't give a shit. I'm still gonna get rid of stuff in this house. I'm in full just like F this, push through, let's get some shit done. Let's find an awesome house mode. That's where I'm at. So anyway, this is a very short episode, but I wanted to just explain myself. And I love the shit out of you guys. I have no makeup on. I don't even care. Obviously, you guys know I don't care. I'm tired. I am spent. I'm wrecked. And I'm just ready to just F shit up and be awesome. And it's going to be great. And no matter what you have going on, this is also like a huge first world problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm so bummed out because I didn't get that. I'm crying like a little baby because I didn't get the house that we wanted. And it's like, shut the fuck up, Jay. And I know that. But it's like, I mean, it could be anything. Like, imagine somebody gives you something that you really want. And they're like, here you go. And just as you touch it, they're like, no, just kidding. And you're like, what? Like, it's a fucking bummer, dude. Whatever. So anyway, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks for listening to me rant. And I will see you next weekend. And I will make sure I'm more presentable and I'm in a better mood. And it'll be great. Okay? All right. I love you guys. Bye.